My name is Marne and welcome to my final reflection video for EdTech 592 at Boise State University. This reflective video is a part of my final portfolio. In addition to my learning log, collection of artifacts mapped to AECT standards, and final rationale paper for the Masters of Educational Technology program at Boise State University. This video will showcase some of the projects I'm really proud of, as well as give you a deeper look into my journey through the Boise State EdTech program. I'm a 4th grade teacher in East Helena, Montana, and I've been here for a grand total of 5 years, which is all of my career, and I so love what I'm doing and what I'm teaching. My husband teaches in the same district as me, we have an awesome dog, and we just bought a house. I was really feeling quite satisfied with my family accomplishments, but I was starting to feel the itch a few years ago to do more professionally. When I first started in my district, they had just begun making some pretty big strides with obtaining technology and providing tools for teachers and students. And some of those tools included smartboards, document cameras, projectors, and good wireless internet connectivity. And being a newer teacher with little training, I began educating myself and experimenting with these tools at home and with my students. The little things I was trying was soon noticed by my peers and by administration, and I started receiving some positive feedback for what I was doing, and I thought, you know, maybe I could get good at this. Maybe I could really become somewhat of an expert in educational technology. So right after that, I knew I needed to advance my education with a master's degree. I wanted it to be from a strong and reputable place, and I wanted it to be in the Northwest, somewhere close to me, somewhere close to Montana. Boise State fit perfectly. I started at Boise State in the spring semester of 2013, which is also when my district began slowly rolling out iPads for students at a 1-to-1 ratio. It was great timing. Real-world technological implementation in schools colliding with a program whose focus was educational technology. I began my EdTech journey with EdTech 501, Introduction to Educational Technology, and during this course I was introduced to learning how to integrate technology meaningfully. Think about technology planning, research in educational technology, as well as exploration with various technological tools. One topic that stuck with me was the digital divide, which is the chasm that exists between people who have easy access to computers and the internet and those who do not. I created a Prezi presentation examining my area's demographics, as well as taking a close look at my school district and potential digital divide issues. It was enlightening and, on occasion, a bit alarming to take a look at the effects of the digital divide and examine what my district was doing right and what needed to be improved. Prior to EdTech 502, the only experience I had in any web page creation or building was when I was probably 12 or 13 and I was making silly pages using XPage or GeoCities. And I hardly used any HTML for that, maybe just a little bit for making a font bold or a different color or adding a picture. So I truly didn't get into the meat of HTML and CSS. Well, in EdTech 502, you truly get to dive in head first and learn immense amounts of information regarding web page design, creation, coding, picture editing, copyright, I could go on and on. I also learned how to effectively use the internet as a learning tool for students. I created some pretty great web pages using Adobe Dreamweaver that my students could use to delve further into a topic. I am most proud of my virtual field trip to Iceland webpage. It contains multimedia features such as videos, imagery, and audio, as well as links to provide additional information. Each page also had questions for the students to answer to assess their understanding of Iceland. Plus, I really liked how I styled and themed the pages. EdTech 502 allowed me to express my creativity and apply what I was learning directly to what I was teaching and doing as a teacher. Being able to create learning tools that my students could use was extremely rewarding. I really appreciated the hands-on and applicable activities that I learned in EdTech 513 Multimedia. I learned that Mayer's cognitive theory of multimedia learning is much more than making sure your PowerPoints aren't boring. It's about how learners learn and process information. Incorporating meaningful and relevant multimedia can make or break learning experiences. One assignment I truly enjoyed was creating a podcast episode. Inspired by what my district was doing with iPads, I chose to call my podcast the App Wrap. My first episode was on the app iMovie and how I used it in the classroom and how others could use it. This podcast was just the tip of the iceberg regarding how deep I would truly explore the app iMovie in my other courses at Boise State and with my students in my district. This class gave me many opportunities to create engaging presentations that incorporated various types of multimedia. I have applied the theories and principles that I've learned in this class to my profession and have shared the importance of multimedia and learning with colleagues as well. EdTech 541 provided me with many opportunities to incorporate technology across all content areas into many of my lessons. This is perfect for me. I'm an elementary teacher. I teach science, social studies, math, language arts, art. I could go on and on. During this course, I learned about determining relative advantages of incorporating certain technological programs or tools. This helps one determine whether or not including the tool provides students with advantages toward a better understanding of the content. Once again, I created many resources for my students that fit perfectly into my curriculum into many content areas. One of my favorites was the mystery Skype lesson I created based on lessons I'd seen floating around my Twitter feed, and this incorporated Twitter, Skype, and today's Meet, some nice social media tools. Mystery Skypes allow students to connect with other students across the country and world, engaging in a 20-question style geography game, followed by an informal compare and contrast discussion of the respective states. I have since engaged in several mystery Skypes, opening the doors for my students to learn about their world in a new way. This year, I am expanding how I connect with classrooms around the world by embarking on a year-long partnership with a teacher in Texas. I am really looking forward to integrating technology and making connections with my students this year, and I am excited to dive into uncharted territory. All because I started thinking about the relative advantages for incorporating these technological-filled experiences. Thanks, EdTech 541! I loved EdTech 533 because I've been making movies forever. I made silly music videos when I was in middle school, actual short films in high school, and some projects in college. I also took on the role recently of helping create green screen movies for my school's monthly reward assemblies after a colleague retired. EdTech 533, YouTube in the Classroom, came right at the right time, just when I took on that new responsibility. I learned how to create playlists for students to learn content from, put together my own videos using the YouTube editor, and I learned how to create learning tutorials for my students. One of my favorite projects was my 2-part How to Use iMovie to Green Screen. I really learned the ins and outs of green screening with iMovie on the Mac and the iPad because creating a tutorial explaining how to use it really forced me to really learn it. Putting it on YouTube and thinking about the real-life audience I would be making it for also made me think about how to make it as high quality as possible. I wanted to pass on that opportunity I had had for my students, the ability to create and think about the authentic audience you're creating for. YouTube for Educators gave me multiple chances to do just that. Additionally, I continued with learning about green screening, and I decided to teach some after-school enrichment classes to students. I was also asked to create a short TV commercial advertising a fun run for my district, which all came from word of mouth because of students who had been in my after-school classes. Boise State has passed on skills to me that have opened some really fun and amazing doors, and I am so appreciative. EdTech 503 was one of the most challenging and rewarding and completely exhausting classes that I took at Boise State. It was rigorous and intense with the activities, discussions, and content. I learned so much about the ADDIE model and the time it takes to create quality instructional materials. While I am definitely able to apply many of the ideas to my teaching as an elementary teacher, I thought this course was definitely more suited toward those who wanted to be true instructional designers, people who made professional development materials, who created curricular materials and programs, etc. So I decided to focus my final instructional design project on professional development, creating something I could use to teach my colleagues. When I was taking EdTech 503, my district had reached the point of being fully immersed in the iPad-to-student 1-to-1 ratio. However, few specialized trainings had been given regarding the power of specific apps. I decided to tackle iMovie. Sound familiar? It's kind of a theme for me. And I created my instructional design project, iMovie on the iPad for educators. I had never envisioned it would be the challenge that it was, but instructional design really breaks down how instruction is given. Matching objectives to match content, designing effective assessment, creating the instructional material, structuring and scaffolding the content and activities. This is far from standing in front of a PowerPoint and demonstrating something. I was fortunate enough to put my instructional design project into place by presenting at a conference and by providing at a half-day training session to my peers. Both were well received, especially the one I gave to colleagues. Through this course and the creation of this project, I've discovered that I really like teaching my peers and presenting to them. Teaching iMovie, as a result, hasn't been the only presentation that I've given. While taking courses for the MET program at Boise State, I literally felt reborn as a professional. I was more bold in trying new things with technology, more vocal on how technology was being implemented in my district, and more courageous through presenting to colleagues. Every course I took at Boise State gave me the tools, skills, and confidence to be a better educator. During my last 2 years at Boise State, I've really grown professionally. I've discovered Twitter as a place to connect, reach out, and expand my personal learning network. I've collaborated with a like-minded colleague, and we started EdCamp Montana West, which brought the first EdCamp to the western region of Montana this past August. It was an unbelievably rewarding experience, and the teachers couldn't stop talking about how it was the best professional development they've ever had. We even had newspaper and TV coverage. I've branched out and have given 2 presentations at conferences and 4 presentations in my district regarding iPad integration into classrooms for specific content areas. I've been asked to participate in 2 district committees, one on integrating the Montana content technology standards and aligning them with our curriculum, and the second on sound technology integration throughout the district. I was also asked if I would attend 3 technology conferences, NCCE, ISTE, and My Big Campus. What great learning opportunities! Through my journey at Boise State, I found my passion. I'm hoping to use everything I've learned to someday advance my career to be a technology coordinator or a coach. While my MET career at Boise State is winding down, the drive inside me to climb greater mountains in the EdTech world has grown even greater, and I can't wait to see what's in store for me next.